I'm just going to shift gears and talk about markets right now. The breath is not looking all that charged up or powerful, but there are no large cracks if you have to really spot. IndusInd Bank is the star, and from the mid-cap PSU space, its sale once again, which in quick time has gone from 25 rupees to 35 rupees. Well, another stock which has really recovered in quick time from the recent lows of sub 70, almost 65, is Indian Hotels. It recovered, smart investors bought into it, markets were pricing in too much of negativity, and the smart guys are saying that a franchise like Indian Hotels may slow down but will have no survival problems. The Managing Director and CEO, Mr. Puneet Chhatwal, joins us now. It gives me great pleasure to welcome him back on the show. Puneet, good morning. Thank you for joining us. Well, last time when we interacted with you, Mr. Chhatwal, things were looking down. There was virtually no business for the hospitality stroke the hotel sector. Are things looking up now? Are things looking up in a meaningful manner? Or this is just the start and it's going to be a long road of recovery ahead for Indian hotels?
Thank you, Nikunj, for having me. It's always a pleasure. I think, as you rightly say, it's a start, and we are very happy that the start has happened in some of the key sources of revenue or business for us. So we are really looking forward to the start that happened in Mumbai yesterday, in Bangalore a month ago. Hopefully, a few other key metros will follow in the next weeks. I do believe that it's not going to be a very, very long road to recovery. I think business for us will bounce back faster, but it would take anything between 60 to 90 days after the lockdown is finished. So I think it would be unrealistic to expect that it happens the very next day or the very next week or in the few weeks. It will take time, but it will not take, years for it to come back.
Will it be unfair for me to assume that Indian Hotels feels confident that this time the Christmas season and the New Year season could be almost back to normal? Because when you are saying specific words like 60 days and 90 days, that's prompting me to assume that you believe that minor dip here or there, but your year-end season and New Year season could be back on track?
I do believe, I don't know, only time will tell whether this is a right or a wrong assumption, but just the very fact that people would like to put 2020 behind them gives me hope that around Christmas, New Year, things will start coming back and people would like to forget this year as if it never came.
What are the initial feelers and initial sense you've got from, I would say, guest, because that's the terminology hospitality industry uses, the guests who so far have come back to your hotels in various cities? Is that word fear of going to a hotel or a restaurant, is that getting over?
Definitely not, Nikunj. We are not yet in that phase. That's what I meant by 60, 90 days actually. So I'll take here an example of the state of Karnataka. So people actually drove from Bangalore to our properties in Coorg, in Chikmagalur, to our homestays and trails. And whether they did it for a board meeting or they did it for a family stay, or they just did it because people needed to get out of homes, that was very, very clear for us to see. And in no time, Coorg started filling up. In no time, Chikmagalur started filling up. We do expect a similar trend in August, especially for places like Goa. However, the business travel will take a little bit more time. So I think people driving to a certain destination and then kind of having either work out of that destination and the family enjoys the holiday, or just going away for an extended weekend where 3 hours, 4 hours, 5 hours of a drive is definitely something which is going to kickstart our business. Having said that, I think we're also very excited as Indian Hotels because we also opened in London a few days ago. I think hotels were allowed to open, and also a lot of steps are being taken in UK to promote hotel business, and London is a very important market for us. That hotel is very important for us. So I think some of these green shoots that are coming are giving us a lot of hope, a lot of positivity, and the needed motivation after more than 100 days when your business has been shut down. Not only yours, but globally the industry has faced a shutdown. I think this was the needed motivation at the right time and at the right moment, and not too late, I would say.
Of your business broadly comes from Mumbai, 15 comes from Delhi and NCR, about 10% comes from Bangalore. While business was not operating, a lot of travelers were also using hotel facilities for quarantining. I've been told that hotels were charging anywhere between 5,000 to 8,500 rupees. That is in sync with the normal ARR which you would have in these cities. When I say ARR, average room rates you have in these cities. How has quarantine purely helped your business? We're talking business here.
Right. So I think one very important thing is that in such a crisis, a pandemic like this, I think one important factor that is to maintain the security of your associates as well as of your guests. Right? So I think 100 days hotels, let's talk about Mumbai for a moment. All our hotels, Taj in Santa Cruz, the President, the Taj Mahal Palace Tower, the Taj Lands End, the Gingers, they have been operating and housing the essential services as well as the repatriation flights for the quarantine guests. So that means they are used to the new safety security norms and have been adhering to those far earlier than anybody else. So I think that is very important because the safety and security is of paramount importance to us as a company as well as a group. So that's one part of it. The second is, of course, it helps you to keep things operational because when you shut down and you restart, things don't work the same way. So I think staying operational in whatever form, whether you're doing it for the society, you're doing it as a service, or you're doing it to just do a little bit of business is also very helpful, as long as you're not out of pocket and you're not paying to stay open. Last not least, your restart, like we have had in Mumbai since yesterday, which is 33% plus essential services. I think that is also very helpful because you don't have to start climbing from zero. You're already at a certain level of business, and whatever then comes in is an add-on. And your staff and your people are really trained, are really used to serving the guests. And what we have done also is we've been housing most of our staff in either our hotels or accommodation around the hotel so that they don't have to travel. And I think this all kind of assures all our stakeholders that we are fit for start, that we are ready to start, and we are dying to welcome guests back in our hotels and our restaurants. And very soon we expect that also to open up because at the moment it's restricted to in-house guests only. So hopefully in the next few weeks that will also open up. And then we start getting to normalization phase over what I keep saying 90, 100 days post this opening.
Let me just read a tweet from Rishi Sunak, since you talked about hotels opening in London. To support restaurants, the people who work there, we are saying eat out and help out. And for the month of August, we will give up to a 50% reduction with up to £10 per head on sit-down meals. Somewhere, the hospitality industry has got so far nothing from the government. For industry which generates maximum employment in the country, we've not got anything. What are you sensing? Something is coming? Or it's disheartening to see that nothing's come so far?
That also gives hope that something will come eventually, because you said it, 12.5% direct or indirect jobs have been created by hospitality and tourism industry in this country. I think it's an important sector going forward, also in terms of earning foreign exchange, in terms of contribution to the GDP of the country. I think also the feel-good factor, I think it's very important. Does not matter. You don't have to be in luxury hotels. It could be in mid-market. It could be in the lower end of the market. But it's a feel-good factor. And I think a feel-good factor is psychologically also important for any economy, and not just the GDP growth comes from just certain other initiatives. Also for the education of the people, also for building cultures, also for, kind of having an international exchange. It's not, and also enabling our domestic business, which is going to be the key after this pandemic in every country of the world to, kickstart the business. So I think in a lot of respects, as also outlined by the leadership in the country, by the Prime Minister himself, tourism is an important pillar of any economy in general and going forward for India in particular. And I see no reason why some form of support will not come. And in my other role as the president of the Hotel Association of India, we have been making continuous representations in, qualifying the current situation as a survival phase and how to revive and eventually for this industry to thrive. So I think survival, revival, thrival have been the key themes. Those discussions are ongoing, and I see no reason whether now or in a few months something will come up. But I'm glad you took the example of Rishi Sunak in the UK. I think that's I don't believe we can cut, copy, paste what others are doing, but somehow we can do take inspiration or certain key learnings why they are doing so. What is the need for a country like UK to incentivize people to go out and eat in restaurants, and they would subsidize, the government would subsidize those meals? I think for the reasons I just now said is an important factor. And also they reduced the VAT till January from, I think, 20% to 5%, if I remember the numbers correctly. So I think it's all shows not about the reduction, not about the financial incentives, rather the importance UK is giving to this industry. And I think we also have given a lot of importance to a lot of industries in the last few months. And I'm quite optimistic and quite sure that going forward, something will come along our way for all the sectors that come under the umbrella of tourism.
Well, I really hope so, because this is one industry where the dynamics have really got smashed out of the shape. So, Mr. Chhatwal, let's talk about specifics here. Now, specifics here is that I'm going to take the clock back to pre-COVID, when COVID was not there in the world. That time, your guidance was that you would open one hotel a month. Is this crisis forcing you to relook at your ambitious plan of opening one hotel a month?
No, Nikunj, the plans might have changed because the narrative in the market has changed. So I think we did not plan opening a hotel a month just because we wanted to have so many rooms and so many hotels operating. I think there was a science behind it, and the science was coming from the background of ownership of assets, being an owner-operator. We wanted to have a 50-50 mix of owned and operated and fee-based business. And we almost achieved that because we got to a portfolio coming from 67-70% owned operated to we came down to less than 60, and 40% became a fee-based business. And as you rightly say, last year we did open 13 hotels. And so we are, if we take April, May, June, we say like 15 months, we opened 13. And we have almost 40 hotels or more in our pipeline. And I think on the contrary, a pandemic, a crisis like this will bring along with it a lot of conversion opportunities. So there will be a normal M&A activity. There will be consolidation post this crisis in the industry. And I think we are very well positioned to take advantage of that and continue on our growth strategy of fee-based business, so we can mix our asset light in the last few years and now with the asset heavy from the past. And then we have a very hedged portfolio. And I think that will not change, also for a reason, because if you have a pipeline of signed contracts of more than 40 properties, at some point they will open. There may be a delay of a few months here or there because there are no workers on site, or there was a lockdown, or there was bad weather in Delhi and and there was a Supreme Court judgment to not have construction. But a delay does not mean it's not going to happen. Even our own property, we were supposed to open the Connaught, which we have taken on a long-term license from the NDMC in a open bidding. It was supposed to open by end of March. So it will not open by March, it will open in September now. So I think we are well on track, and growth is a very important pillar of our strategy. And there is no way we are going to compromise on it. However, what we will not do is focus on now signing 20 more contracts, which may open in 3-4 years from now. It's important is to help hotels in pipeline to open and help do effective asset management, which is a part of our new reset initiative, and help our partners, our owners to get through this crisis, and also make use of certain opportunities which every crisis brings with it to restructure and reimagine our portfolio.
Just the benefit of our viewers, Mr. Chhatwal, let me explain to our viewers that a business like Indian Hotels, it's an operating leverage business, which is that you have fixed cost, and when you are making money which is more than the fixed cost, the operating leverage kicks in. Where would be that comfortable level for you, Mr. Chhatwal, that beyond which you would say, look, my operating leverage would start kicking in? What is that magical number or that line beyond which you would say whatever money I will make will increase my cash flow and will add to my operating leverage?
It's fascinating, Nikunj, as this business is. I think there is not like a one-size-fits-all answer. But however, because you've asked the question, I will try to simplify and answer it. I think one of that fixed cost leverage is by brand. The second is by geography. And the third is by contract type. So let me start with the last one, by contract type. In a management contract business where you're operating a third party's asset, it's only a question of management fees being higher or lower. There is no direct fixed cost that you have other than what is a corporate office cost, because it's a support office. It's supporting all those management contracts, but all other costs are the cost of the owner of the asset. When it comes by geography, the leverage part also changes, and this crisis has shown us. We just took the example of UK or US, where a lot of that labor cost is being, kind of compensated by the government itself. So it's not hitting your P&L. So that if in a normal business operation, that fixed cost level and the break-even point was at 45%, suddenly this could drop to 35% because of the support that you're getting from the government. So that's the reason why it changes by geography. And finally, by brand. Certain brands like our mainstream brand, our backbone, the pride of the nation, the Taj, is at a higher fixed cost level than, let's say, a Ginger or a Vivanta or somebody being part of Selections. So I think, and also our other businesses like the flight kitchen business, which has come to also a complete halt because there is no international flights, and on domestic flights there is no food supply happening. So there is a different level of fixed cost structure by brands, by geography, and the business type that we are operating in, or the contract type. And generally speaking, I would say what this crisis has taught the industry, and now I would say not just Indian Hotels, the industry, is that even fixed cost after a certain point becomes variable. I don't think any of us believed how to live with life when the revenues dropped to almost zero, and how a fixed cost could turn variable because a fix was always a fix. So some of those things have changed. Some of the states have been very helpful. Let's say the state of Maharashtra has been very good in helping us with the utilities. They also helped us change, with the order yesterday in terms of hosting essential services stuff by compensating us with a much higher number than what we were getting for the first 100 days of the lockdown. So I think these kind of numbers, they keep changing and evolving, especially in a one-off situation that we have all witnessed in our lifetime.
Markets got nervous about your cash flows and the stock plunged from let's say 110 levels to sub 70 levels. Let's talk about what concerns the shareholder. The shareholder wants to know that what support you will get from Tata Sons if you need more cash, and what will happen to your cash flows, because last couple of years you were generating a cash. You did all the right measures and you became a cash flow positive company. But now what happens to that? And would you be leaning on Tata Sons for support?
Well, Nikunj, I think it's good to have a backing of a group that is our majority shareholder. However, and having said that, you said you did a lot of things, and I would say we are still doing and we will continue to do. And the year has just started. It's the weak part of the year. The H1 is traditionally a time when we have always had to have break even. Of course, we have used a lot of cash in the Q1 and partially maybe going forward in Q2. But I have always been an optimist, and my management team together with me has always been an optimist, and we see no reason why in the second half, which is the most important half from October to March, we will not bounce back and have cash generation ourselves and not lean on anyone. If needed, yes, we have that psychological security, but I do believe in the team, in our business model, and also in all the infrastructure help that we will get from various state governments and central governments and the people in this nation who love some of our brands to come and enjoy and create the cash flow that is needed for the revival and eventually the thrival of our industry.
Closing comments. A couple of days ago, as a customer of Indian hotels, as somebody who loves to visit your restaurants, got an SMS saying that you can order food from your favorite restaurant sitting at home. Tell me about that initiative. How will it work? Is it
yeah, and I think that's a good one. We have
just gratify your customers, or you will make money?
No, I think we don't take decisions based on just pleasing one or the other stakeholder. Ultimately, everything has to make business sense. So here is the logic behind several initiatives that we have planned. We have launched 2 of them. From, let's say, the 7 or 10 that are planned in all. And the first 2, I spoke about one already, that is called the 4D initiative, and that is how you dream, you drive, you discover and delight yourself. It was launched in Karnataka, then came in Rajasthan, and now slowly coming to people who would want to get to Goa as a destination. So that is, because drivecations became important. Now coming to the question you asked about home delivery of food. So when you have large infrastructure like we have, one of the key focus of the management must be to sweat its assets. And that we have been effectively doing in reinventing spaces. But how do you sweat your large kitchens, the staff that is there, in doing something different? So what we came up was, how do we bring the food of Golden Dragon, which you see in my background picture here too, as a motivation for people to their homes, and give them a digital experience, whether through music, through the decor, through the food, brought to their doorstep, and done in a very efficient way. So we launched a brand called Cumin, spelled as Q-M-I-N, or with the 3 Qs, which means curated quality, and a cuisine also spelled with a Q. And it's been like 10, 12 days that we have launched it. A Cumin app will follow on the 25th of July, which will make all this ordering much easier. And we wanted to have a digital kind of innovation in our system, and digital to play an important role going forward. So we get first the Cumin app. This app will help us launch in the 10 key metros of India. So the second and the third cities that will follow on the 17th of July is Delhi and Bangalore. And after that, in the month of August, we'll be opening Cumin gourmet shops. So these will be, kind of grab on the run when you just stop and pick up, fancy foods of your choice, just put it in the microwave at home and it's ready to eat, or some fancy kinds of breads, international breads, whether it's muffins or Danish pastry or baguettes or your Swiss rolls, and these cumin shops will be where there is large residential footfall. So we would have one at the President because it has a catchment area of Cuff Parade next to it. Or in Delhi at the Ambassador because you have Golf Links, Pandara Road, and Khan Market area next to it. So I think this is a new area of business, a new source of revenue that we have started. And we have started this because this industry is a very large industry in India. We never focused on it because all of our hotels and restaurants were full. We were busy with that. And when the need arises, when you try to look for new areas of revenue, this was one of the feedbacks we got from our customers, if you could do something. Another one we got was, can we have like some kind of a calories defined meal so that we know exactly how much we are eating on a low calorie thing. Some came up with the protein thing. So some of that will follow, but it's a start and we're very proud of it and would encourage all of you to try to.
All right. Good luck, Mr. Chhatwal. Always good to see you back. And it is good to see that this time you're joining us from your hotel, not from your house or some other remote location. Stay safe, sir. Thank you for joining us. Let's take a break. It's a silent market. Markets are consolidating, and a consolidating market after the recent rally is always called as healthy consolidation.